the league won, but included in that decision was a finding that the league tried to collude, and it all got buried for more than 5 months. See, I think the arbitrator got it wrong. I just think that the arbitrator was bound to determine to believe the owners. And we know what happens. This is human nature. You get your hand caught in the cookie jar. You say, I'm not eating cookies. What are you talking about? In this case, the hand's in the cookie jar, the crumbs are on the shirt, the cookies are in the mouth, and the owner said, we're not eating cookies. And the arbitrator said, well, that's good enough for me. You're not eating cookies.
Can you believe he used that analogy as well during that interview about fast food owners? I'm going, oh, my God. That was Mike Florio with us just moments ago. Pro Football Talk, Football Night in America. He's a Bulldog. I know what he said about the quarterbacks. We'll get to those here in just a moment.
Oh,
see, I don't understand this whole thing. This is what happens when it's like when you actually have power. Like this is, you can say whatever you want to about guys behind a microphone. This is influence. Danny Cunningham's in for Lima today. Jason's in tomorrow. Daryl's in on Friday. There's influence here, but there's no actual power. When you actually have power, yeah, like I know you called Russell Wilson a wuss. I don't know what else you called him. I'm not going to, when you're in that position, probably name calling isn't the best thing. But everybody in the world knows you're frustrated. And I think if I play defensive tackle for the Seattle Seahawks and I see that, and if it just comes out when it comes out, and there's no attempt to cover up to discredit DeMaurice Smith or any of the other stuff, which is just dumb. It's just dumb. Because let me defend DeMaurice Smith here in just a moment here. But when you do that to cover it up, it's just pointless because if I'm Kenny Carmen and I'm the guard for the Seattle Seahawks or whatever, I'm looking at it going, yeah, damn straight. We want guaranteed money. I want everything I could possibly get guaranteed because it's all silly anyway. Well, Myles Garrett has a $160 million contract. No, he has $123 million. He is not probably going to see that other whatever millions of dollars that he's entitled to there, courtesy of that contract, some $37 million. That ain't going to happen. And so you want to fight for every single penny that you get. And it's lousy to me. And hey, man, I like JC personally. It sucks to say that. It was a huge mistake. You're thinking about your own future. You're thinking about keeping yourself in power for the future of it. You're a former NFL player. You're a former NFLPA president. You went to Cornell for crying out loud. You'd have been just fine. Yeah, you called him a wuss. You'd have been just fine. You don't see the forest for the trees, man. And you got to see it. And the whole stuff about, well, we don't want guys who fight with the NFLPA. Man, the NFL Players Association, they need a fighter. You might not want DeMaurice Smith on that wall, but, man, you need him on that wall because they don't have anything. Their season isn't 9 months long like Major League Baseball or basketball or hockey. You only get so many game checks, and then that's it. I know you get other little bonuses here and there, but you only get so many game checks. And you need somebody to fight for it because they need to use every single recourse they have other than the owners shutting down the season. The owners certainly don't want to shut down the season. It's less and less likely because we have television deals that we have now and billions of dollars being paid out. But my God, you need a guy to fight. And I didn't agree with everything DeMaurice Smith has done, but my God, he was a fighter. They need a fighter more than any of the other players' associations. They have the least money. They have the shortest season. They have the fewest checks that actually roll in.
They play the most dangerous game,
and they play a very physical game. Yes,
that I think really makes them look bad. Is we can talk about the physicality of basketball, and Owen can yell about the Cavs not being tough enough, but that sport is not as physical or as tough as football. Baseball certainly, like it's a grind, but it's not the same. The careers are shorter. The game checks are shorter. That is part of the reason why the owners have the power of we'll just shut down the season because every day that passes in the NFL more than any other sport is one less day of your career.
And what he's saying in so many ways, and I've disagreed with Mike Florio a time or two, and I did not like what I heard about what he said about the quarterbacks, which I'm sure we'll get into at 9:45. What he's saying is that, yeah, I should be upset about a text exchange between Dean Spanos and Michael Bidwell.
Yeah.
Because that does, even though I assume that, hey, they're the franchise owners. I made the analogy earlier today, and he actually used one like it. I said, if Owen, me, and Danny were all franchisees of Burger Chef, I'd use one that ain't around anymore. And we all had a Burger Chef. Yeah, we're probably going to start sharing opinions and ideas of it. We all know this. We're not supposed to want to. You're not supposed to do that, but you're under the same umbrella because it's supposed to be a competitive business. It's supposed to be we're out for it. And if you want to look at it, see, this is where the Browns are this wild organization because Mike highlights 2016 and 17. It is an organization that, yes, punted on 2 years, and they've been open about it, punted on 2 years for the future.
Yes.
It's also the same organization that traded away 3 first-round picks and gave the only fully guaranteed contract for a quarterback who has ended up being a total disaster.
They are the wild card organization in the NFL.
It's from one extreme to another. And this is where I just don't want them to go to the other extreme. So when when it comes to actual football being played out there in the field, like it sucks because I go, yeah, we shouldn't act so surprised. You can be frustrated and outraged. We shouldn't be so surprised that, yeah, the owners talk to each other and they definitely want to keep it all down. That should be a problem. But it's also something where when it comes to actual football being played, again, what's the identity of the 2025 Cleveland Browns? Are they a team that's getting ready for 2026? A lot of moves say, yeah, you nodded your head.
They are.
Then why did you give Myles Garrett all the money?
Because you want Myles Garrett to be on the Browns in 2026.
It doesn't matter about that, though. If you really think you're going to be that much better that soon?
That's why you did it, because you want this to be a quick turnaround. You want Myles Garrett to still be in his prime during this turnaround. That's why they did it.
32, 33, 34 years old.
He's not going to be 33 next year.
That's not the end of the prime. Or that's not the prime. That's the end of the prime.
I know,
that's being nice about it.
They think they can have this turned around by 2026. Myles Garrett's still in his prime. I think it's fair to say we expect Myles Garrett to be really, really good this season and next season. I don't expect the drop-off to happen that quick.
That's true.
That soon.
But do you expect the rebuild to happen that quick?
I don't, but the Browns probably believe it can.
Okay.
I don't believe it. I don't believe very much in this organization right now, but they believe in themselves.
Because if you're trying to win right now, call it what it was. You're taking Travis Hunter. You're putting him as a wide receiver for say whatever you want to about his. We got to go back to April, not what's going on during OTAs, for crying out loud, and what the aggregation Twitter councils ever put out there. Okay, Lord, you're taking Travis Hunter and you're going, okay, he's going to play with Joe Flacco, and it's going to be Travis Hunter on one side, Jerry Jeudy on the other. We'll burn him. You still could have gotten Quinshon. You couldn't have got Quinshon Judkins, but you could have got Harold Fannin. You could have got other guys. Let's see if we can burn them on one side or the other. They are trying to win now. But you didn't do that. You got a second round. You got a first round pick, which was a haul. And looking for a quarterback at some point, yeah, I would say it would be till next year. But if you're all in on winning, you don't make that trade. But again, every other move they make has been contradictory to what their plan would be. What you even feel like there's plenty of people who feel, Ken, this season already it's house money. It's whatever. Just get the 2026 and figure it out, Kenny. Yeah. And then there's guys like me going, well, wait a minute. They're telling you not to wait until 2026. So I got to hold them accountable for something. I just can't sit there and go, hey, it's another year that we're just going to throw out the window here and it doesn't matter and nobody needs to account for anything. Like, that's insane.
It depends what you think throwing the year out the window is.
And for a team that we like to compare all the time with the Eagles, it's like, guys, Howie Roseman's never going to do that. Howie Roseman's always going to try to win.
No, because Howie Roseman never put himself in the position the Browns put themselves in with the Deshaun Watson contract.
But he never would have done the thing, and I got to check all the stats here and all the records. He never would have done the thing that they did in 16 and 17. He wouldn't have done that. So if we're comparing ourselves to the Super Bowl champions, which is a wild comparison, but we did have people work there, you're not doing what they do. Again, he takes advantage. He had veterans. He drafted veterans, guys who can police the locker room. But if the organization, if I don't know what your identity is, I'm sure a lot of players don't know what the identity is, and then it gets harder to pick each other up if things don't go your way. And that's what's happened. And the Browns aren't the only team. There's several teams like the Browns, but that's been a problem for 25 years. Not even during the Lerner years, that was a problem. We spend so much time being smarter than everybody else. It's like, man, you really just got to look in the mirror here and say, what are we about? What are we going to do? Instead of, well, you see, we'll win in 26 and 27. Okay, sounds like a plan, but are you going to be able to execute the picks and make the right guys?
Probably not, but that's the plan.
Well,
because they've shown time and time again they don't do that well.
216-474-0092. Mike Flory also said something else at the end of the interview that bothered me. And I groan Not about him. Listen to you groan. Hold on. We're going to break here. I groan not about the name that he mentions. I groan to how I know you'll react.
As Juju Smith-Schuster once said, the Browns is the Browns.
Oh, my, come on now.
Anytime you put winning behind other things, you develop a culture that isn't fundamentally and ultimately about winning. That's the problem.
Yeah, we lived it.
And so if the Browns aren't trying to win this year, fine. Carry 5 quarterbacks. And that's the other thing, too. Wait till Deshaun Watson shows up with a clean bill of health and says, hey, I'm ready to play.
Mike, come on now.
Just wait. Just wait.
Okay, so he started trolling, basically, it seemed.
Was he?
I don't know.
Or was he being real?
So what he says about the quarterbacks, I still got to hold somebody accountable and say, hey, guys, you got to try to win. Name of the game is winning. And it's not about, honestly, it's not even about like a witch hunt of Kevin Stefanski or even Andrew Berry and, well, what were you responsible and what were you not? It's like, hey, you guys, if you go out and win some games, it's indefensible to fire you. You understand that, right? Like if you go out and you win 3 games, they can say anything they want. You won 3 games last year, won 3 games this year. Yeah, but we were on this plan. I don't care if we were on this plan.
Right.
Fans are upset. You're gone. Goodbye.
It's a result.
But if you go out and you win 9 games this year, when everybody thinks you're not going to win 9 games or even 7 games or even 5 games for a lot of people, you make it indefensible to fire you. I don't understand why the objective isn't always winning.
What's that number? What is that number this year
7.
for it to be indefensible?
I said 7. Yeah, if you go from 3 wins to 7 wins, you got a 3rd round rookie, you got a 5th round rookie, and I guess I have to put the rounds on them right now. But you have 2 rookies that were not day 1 rookies. Those guys will eventually play. When, I'm not sure. Ain't gonna be week 1. As of right now, Dylan's gonna play before the other one. Don't blame me. That's the Browns, guys.
He has a name, Shador.
Oh, sorry. I go from one to the other, and I go Shador and the other one, or Dylan. I do the same thing with my kids, guys. I got 3 kids. I do the same thing with them. I'll do the same thing with the quarterbacks. I got the old one. I got this one with small hands or whatever. I got the one that's not the tallest, and that's Jonah. And then I got Shador. There you go. What? What are you looking at me like that in there for?
Seeing how far you're going to dig this hole.
Not a hole. Joe Flacco's too old to be my son. He's older than me. Kenny Pickett is old enough to be my younger brother. We're getting to the point now. Shador and Dylan are young enough to be my sons.
Getting close.
38.
Shador's 23.
23?
Right?
38. 15 years old is old enough to father a child. I don't know if it's old enough to be a daddy, but that's a totally different conversation for Camaro today at 1 on Fox 8. For Shador, okay, for these 2 rookies, where was I going with this? So you got me going on a totally different direction. What the hell did you get me going on with this?
You got yourself going there.
If you make it always about winning and you can win 7 games, then I can defend everything. I can defend because if you win 7 games, guys, Andrew Berry's draft picks had to have played well. DeJuan Jones had to have played well over at left tackle as a 4th round pick. And that means you got a hell of an athlete because he was a pretty good right tackle. And hell, he was apparently overweight over at right tackle. And he's been fantastic in camp so far over at left tackle. And everybody knows I love that young man. Your Quinshon Judkins will have had to run well. Harold Fannin Jr., because let's be honest, David is a physical specimen, but David is often hurt and doesn't really finish seasons at 17 games. Harold Fannin Jr. will have had to step up. Mason Graham, who's our number 1 first-round pick, number 5 overall, who we never talk about, he will have had to help out defensively, and you're going to have those picks. He's been around for 6 years. That means that his picks will have had to play well. For Kevin, we're going to go back to his system. It's going to be more ball control oriented. It's going to be more 12 personnel oriented. That means they will have to have an efficient offense. All right. So those things are there. I can make a defense of you. You win 3 games. The only thing I can say is, well, we want to have some consistency there. And people will call in and go, Ken, consistently bad. When it comes to the other guy, I groan because if he plays this year,
I can't do it.
And Shador ain't the other guy, and Dylan and Joe and Kenny ain't the other guy.
Who's the other guy? Who's the other guy?
You know who the other guy is.
Who's the other guy?
You know who the other guy is. You know damn well who the other guy is.
I do.
If that guy comes in, the season's already gone.
Yes.
The season's already gone. There's a contract there. They can't deny him coming in. He can't badmouth them. We'll see what they do. I don't groan because of him. The season will already be done.
If he is playing football, I'm not watching. I am not watching him play football anymore.
That's why I groan.
I am not watching him play football.
Guys,
not
to argue about Shedeur Sanders and whether or not his dad's there or his dad's not there, it's more fun. It's more exciting. I want to see what he can do. I want to see if this guy can really rip it.
Me too.
I want to see if Dylan Gabriel at 5'10" can really rip it, which I know you guys are saying I'm being generous with the 5'10". I want to see. I'm excited about those guys. Okay, maybe Kenny Pickett and his aunt can prove me wrong.
I doubt it.
Maybe they can do it. Deontay Johnson says he throws a good ball. Says he can spin it.
Only when it's warm out.
I want to talk about those guys. I know what happens when they play Deshaun Watson. You guys go click, and that's it. That's it.
I'm not watching Deshaun Watson play football,
we're
man.
trying to move.
Done. I'm done with that.
There you go.
I've seen enough
this
of
that. This is a guy who covers basketball
I know what
primarily.
it is. I know what that is. I'm not spending 3 hours in a Sunday watching Deshaun Watson play football ever again.
That's why I groan. If they play him, the season's done. I'll just watch what happens and see what happens. I don't think much is going to happen of it, and that's the way it's going to go, and that's the way it would end. But when it comes to you guys on there, it's like, oh my God, you just go back to the doldrums of what they were, and you have an organization that, while I'm not clear about what their goals are this year, they're clearly trying to move forward into a brighter phase of what they could possibly be. When you have the 2 first-round picks, when you do have 2 young rookies who they each have their little peccadillos, they each have their high sides as well, their upsides as well. When you have Myles Garrett now signed for the next next 5 years, when you have some of the young guys, you're trying to move forward. We're talking about new stadiums and things like that. We are trying to move forward in a brighter direction where the sun is shining, and you don't want to move backwards.
Mm-mm.
And the fans, they will just think of this as more of the same that they've been dealing with for 3 years, and they ain't going to like it, and I don't want to hear it. I don't want them to have to deal with it. And so, yeah, man, if he's healthy, he's more than has the right to claim that he's healthy to go, and we'll see if they put him out there.
He can claim that he's healthy all they want. They don't have to play him. I think Deshaun Watson playing for the Browns this year would be more of a fireable offense for Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry than any win total could be.
I don't think they can say that.
No, they can't, but I can.
You can. You could always make the decision if you have another quarterback on the roster, that guy is more ready to play.
Yes, and that's what the decision always should be. I don't care who the other quarterback is, but I know it can't be that guy. I know it can't.
Jim Correo. Twitter reactions brought to you by Shab and Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Jim is a guy who's tweeted us for years, and I've always said, like, everything's fine, because he says everything's fine. Overreaction. You guys overreact. Jim says, I think the Florio comments sting you, Ken, because you know that they're true. You repeatedly say you don't trust the people making the picks, so you don't trust them to make the smart decisions. The truth hurts, man. Someday the cycle will be broken, maybe. Yeah, fair enough.
Can't do it. Cannot do it.
You really ain't gonna watch the Browns if he plays again?
If they are on red zone, when the other team's in the red zone, because the Browns ain't getting in the red zone with him, I'll have the red zone channel on.
That's irresponsible of you as a host. Actually, no, it might be more entertaining if Danny comes in here on a cold, near winter morning and goes, I didn't watch.
Yeah.
I won't watch. That'd be some wild stuff.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'd be yelling at you.
That'd be better than arguing about him.
I'd be saying you didn't do your job. You think of that.
Do I get paid to watch Deshaun Watson play football?
No, you get paid to talk to me.
Yeah.
But in your defense, not well.